All right, guys, so now that it is the morning, or I guess the afternoon now, I think it's like 2 o'clock, we're gonna try and get the new control arms in. In order to do that, we have to swap the lollipop bushings off of the old ones and to the new ones. And I also just wanna show you guys the difference in why I'm swapping the control arms. So as you can see, it's pretty torn right there. Even that one is really torn. They're all in not the greatest shape, these ball joints. So here, this is the old ball joint. You can see it moves pretty easily. This one does not at all. Same thing with that. It's these ones are a lot stiffer. Of course, they're brand new. Yeah, so we just have to swap off the lollipop bushings. BMW has a special tool for the removal of these bushings, but I don't want to buy the tool, so I came up with a genius idea on how to remove them. So we'll see what happens. I was waiting on some parts, some new control arm bushings, and currently I have them in the freezer, freezing. When the bushings are cold, it shrinks them so it's easier to fit them into the lollipops. I have just removed this bushing from the lollipop. Took me, I don't know, maybe 30, 40 minutes. I've never done this before, so I would say that's pretty good. So now we still have one more to go. Basically, I just sawed them out and then, I don't know, hit it with the screwdriver and the pick to try and pry it out, but that didn't work. So I ended up just using the hammer around to kind of just push the whole thing out. So I'm gonna get working on that side. These lollipops are different. So if you can see, this one says R788, and then the other one is L718. So there's the left hand and right hand side. New control arms right there. So once I get the new bushings in, then we'll toss the lollipops onto the control arms and then toss the control arms back in the car. Okay, so from what I learned from doing the first one, which let me move that out of the way, you kind of just want to cut around, and if you're not reusing your control arms, which I'm not because I have new ones, just destroy the bushing so it kind of comes out like this. And then I set it on a vise so it's holding on to the outer rim right here, not the inner one, kind of like that. And then just take a hammer, screwdriver, whatever, focus just on this outer ring, and then it just pushes through. Okay, so that was pretty easy actually. I'm here like maybe 5 minutes and I already have the bushings in. So the lollipops, so like imagine this sits on the car on that side. This is gonna face in towards the car, and then there's this dot that lines up with this marker right here. You can see it kind of sticks out a little bit. So these are obviously supposed to be on the same side. So like this isn't turned around this way, and then kind of just set it where you want it, hammer it in. It's easier if it's cold, which is what I did. I stuck it in the freezer. And then once it gets flat, then I just put it like that so it kind of hugs the bushing, and then just hammer it all the way in because there is a little lip on the inside to stop it from going through. But yeah, now that we have both of the lollipops in, we'll get to putting the control arms in. So let's do a little test fit here, see what happens. So the control arms are side specific. So that's gonna be, if you look at it from here, the end right here is for the steering knuckle. This is into the subframe, and then that's where the lollipop goes. This is this is passenger side. This is driver side. And then, like I said before, check over here, this is the left. So this is the driver side control arm bushing. So that is gonna go on here, just like that. And then once that's on, then we can get to putting him back on the car. After a little bit of persuasion with a torch, I finally got one of the control arm bushings in. So that's gonna sit up like that. This thing does not move at all. So steering's gonna be pretty tight after this. I may need to hit the end right here with a hammer just to turn it so it'll fit in position, but we'll see. So I'll just get the other one on this lollipop onto that control arm, and then we'll squeeze it on the other side. A little bit later, and we have one of the control arms in, not tightened down, but in. There's the offset bushing, and kind of hard to tell the difference, but I guess we'll see when we put the car down. Yeah, I need to tighten everything down, and while I was here, I noticed that my end links were going bad. So I picked up some new end links for the sway bar, just to replace a little bit nicer. So I'll go ahead and replace that as well. I believe these are, I don't know, maybe that's a 15 and these are 13s, or 13 and 10 or something like that. But this one's a bolt and a nut, and then this one's just a nut on top. All right guys, so it's been about a second for you and a couple months for me. So I'm on my way to a mountain road just to kind of give you guys a little feel, not really feel, just to give you guys a little bit of a show on the handling of my car, the benefits of the offset bushings. So I have my GoPro, so I'm gonna get some POV shots, and I have a little more done to the car. Like I have an exhaust that I haven't showed you guys yet, so I'm not gonna show too many sound clips. But with that being said, let's cut to the GoPro. And here's the GoPro. Now that we have the GoPro running, let's get to this drive. So with the new control arms, I wanted to get a feel for how the car drove, and the whole point of this drive was to do that as well as get some cinematic shots. So as I mentioned earlier in the video, the ball joints on the end of the control arms were very loose, and as you can see right here, moving left to right, it's very responsive, it's very stiff, which I absolutely love, and it completely changed the way that the car feels. And I think that's one of the best upgrades that I've done for drivability to date. So right now I'm just letting some space develop between me and the car and ahead of me. Let's just take a second to admire the view, the gorgeous view of all these trees right here. Beautiful day out today. With that being said, this portion of the video is going to be just me driving the car, doing a little very calm mountain road drive, so you guys can see how the car handles. It's not really anything crazy, but it does feel a lot more controlled. So if you guys are having some steering problems related to your ball joints, I would highly recommend doing this upgrade. Thank you guys for sticking to the video up until this point, and enjoy the drive. See you in the next one.